to be diligent in what you have to do, and take on whatever responsibility you have. It's there and it needs to be done, so you do it.
Yep.
And just if you shake a man's hand, that's what you mean.
Yep.
Is your favorite color hotter than fire engine red? Oh yeah.
As a ranch wife, what is the wildest thing that y'all have ever endured, either together or a situation that you found yourself in on your own? Can be with kids, without.
Oh man, and there's probably a lot of them, but
Yep. I'm sure.
Damon's ridden colts multiple times throughout our lives, and we'll take times where he'll take in outside horses, and there's just always one, there's been several, but there's one that comes along and he ends up making something out of him, but also there's been times where I'm like, you didn't die.
Thank
That
God.
was good.
Yes.
But when the two oldest boys were little, we had a blue-eyed sorrel that someone had sent him to ride, and he had him going pretty good, and he was like, well, we're going to go out and we'll be back. Of course, they were little and we weren't all going to go, so he left and he was gone, and I was starting to wonder, and those were before we were packing cell phones around really like all the time, and he was gone for a while, and I started to get worried about, why are you not showing back up? And he just rode off from the house, and he came walking back in, and it was not a good story, but he had some bumps and bruises over the deal, but there's always been those, roping cattle mavericks, and the boys were little, and we'd go do that together as a family, and there's always those exciting stories where he's off by himself, and I'm holding with them on whatever we have, and he's roped something and ends up riding back up, and and you're like, thank goodness, thank you, Lord.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Lord.
Just those little deals like that, and there's always perseverance through the things. Ranching is not, it's not easy. No. It's not for everyone.
Yep.
And everyone's not for it, but it's hard at times, and there's times where you're like, what are we gonna do? Like, what's gonna be the next step now, because something ended, and and going forward in that. But just the way that men lead us as husbands, and how they're always thinking about the next thing.
Yes.
Whether we're here and we're tending to kids and thinking, prepping food, whatever that is, just our home minds and how we do, but how they are as husbands, and just coming alongside them in that, and making sure that things are going forward, and they always have a plan.
How has your role changed over the years, from when you and Damon were first married to the first kid to now? And I know y'all pack your kids along, which I love so much and admire so much, and plan to do myself, and all of those things. But how has it changed in those different seasons, and what have you learned along the way?
From when we first got married, I was raised in the lifestyle, but not like we are out here. So just not the big country, and
I didn't grow up a big country either. So
it was different. So it took, I guess, a good while before I kind of, as you adapt to it all, and figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work for us as we go forward. But from the beginning, it doesn't seem like a lot of change, but it's definitely there. You have to take on motherhood, and thinking about them as you're planning the day out.
Yes.
And then him too, just to try to keep everybody moving forward and wants to go for the day. But just changing, trying to be a little bit of help and not in the way. With kids, you're packing one, you're like, I'm here, and you're bringing up drag, but also trying to keep the baby from eating all the dirt.
Yes.
So there's always the little things that but the fun of it too.
Yeah.
Because just being able to be there and do it together as a family, and even though it slows you down.
Yes.
It makes things go a lot slower,
Yes.
but
And things go slow anyways.
and
with
they do.
cows sometimes.
Yes, a little patience
Yeah.
goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just I don't know, just changing motherhood.
Being adaptable, I guess.
Yes, and change is good, but it's also hard a lot of the time. So it's just one of those things. Like we can
Yeah.
do hard things. It's okay.
Yes.
And we grow in that, and just adapting to what's to go forward in the next thing.
And Dalleigh, I mean, she taught me how to be prepared. Do you remember that day? You probably don't remember this, but you put biscuits in your leggings pocket. And I thought, does she know something I don't? How long are we going to be out there?
Yes,
And
then you were probably like, yes, by that day,
yes, or something.
yes. There's those days, definitely.
But she's even thinking through that stuff because it was, voluntary for her.
Right.
Like she just was like, well, I'm going horseback. I'm going to stick my biscuits in my leggings pocket so I have a snack for later. And
She's still like that.
I love that. It's a good.
We
It's
still
a good
do
way
that.
to be. It's
Yep.
a good way to be. So Dalleigh, and your mama can help you answer this. So don't feel any pressure. But what is your favorite moment that you've experienced horseback, or something you really like to do when you're on your horse?
What about, do you like loping?
You like loping?
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, isn't it? Uh-huh. How does it make you feel?
Good.
Good?
Like you're fast?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a question Ross brought up this morning that I thought was so good for a cowboy's mom. But what are your fears and what are your prayers for your boys as they grow up?
Mainly that they would be devout Christians.
Yeah.
First and foremost. But because if you're that, then you can go forward in everything else.
Yep.
Correctly. But to be honest, to be diligent in what you have to do, and take on whatever responsibility you have. It's there and it needs to be done, so you do it.
Yep.
And just if you shake a man's hand, that's what you mean.
Yep.
And you go forward with that and work hard.
How has the lessons that they've learned getting to do this job on a daily basis helped you as a mom teach them those things that you just talked about?
Working together is not always. I mean, it's hard enough to do with our husbands.
Yes.
And
Yep.
trying to think about, and just yourself and trying to be in the right spot at the right time.
Yep.
So when you take kids along and you're teaching them the ways and to do it, patience comes up again, but also, just correction and how to take correction from others.
Yes.
And when you're working with people and how to just partner in, and we're all in the same, we're all going at the same goal here.
Yep.
So let's work together and
Yep.
and try to get it done and not be so angry at each other because you're supposed to turn that cow back, not that one, and
Yep.
or let her by, or
Yep.
however, the little things that happen, and to
Yes.
stay calm
Yes.
and not get mad. And it's not always easy
No.
at all, and we lose our tempers at times.
Yes.
And then there's forgiveness, asking for forgiveness and giving it, and
Yep.
just going forward in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
How have you embraced your role on the ranch in all the different aspects, and what is your favorite part of being a cowboy's wife, a rancher's wife?
I don't know. Being together, horseback.
Yep. I would.
Whether we are just gathering a pasture and everybody's spread out and you can see them, every now and then when they top a rise or something.
Yeah.
But I would have to say that, and then even just when you finally all get everything thrown together and you're to the pins, and whether it's sorting or branding, whatever we're doing.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Just the working together and being together.